All right, so we're here with Dakota, or AKA Brain Spiders. How you doing, man?
How's it going? I'm doing great, man.
Good, good.
Excited to talk to you.
Definitely. It's so Dakota and I have been friends for gosh, some like grew up together in Durango. It's been over 20 plus years and I've watched your music journey. You've seen some of my music journey and just would love to have this conversation with you, and it's exciting to have you here. And just I've seen all the things you've been working on lately. You just played this really cool show and I saw your cool net setup, and I want to talk a little bit about that as we go. But yeah, give me a little bit of your background of why you do music, what sparked that passion to become a musician, and anything you want to share on that.
Yeah, I've been doing music now. I've been producing music now. Shoot, time flies, but it's definitely over 10 years. We're probably approaching more like 15 years at this point of producing music, and everything. And it all initially it started first time was, the passion started as I went to Coachella Music Festival. And before this point, like I would say I didn't really know what music I liked, it was this was high school time, and I just was kind of like whatever was popular and whatnot. But yeah, I went to Coachella, went to the electronic tent, and pretty much just opened my eyes up to a world that, like, I didn't even know existed at that point and everything. And so pretty much right after that, like, I went home and me and one of my friends who already had, like, dabbled in a little bit of electronic music, he was the guy that, like, got me to go to Coachella and everything. He showed me FL Studio, and so then we kinda messed around on that. And that's where it started, just making some tracks on that, and it was just really fun. And that's where it stayed for a while, it was just like making music for fun, and just like it was still so cool and so, fresh at that time to just like be inspired by what I hear, and then, mess around on the computer and see what I could come up with and everything. But yeah, so it started there and stuff. But before it really grew into a passion, I then went on to college, and I was getting my degree in molecular and cellular biology. And I did end up getting my degree, but it was like halfway through, you know, getting my degree, like my junior year, I kind of realized it's like all I could think about was music. Like music was like, even though I was going to like, these classes and doing these biology stuff, it was like all I could think about was music on the daily. And it was just like, that's what I want to talk about with my friends, like that's what we are into. I didn't like leave class and like want to go home and necessarily talk about biology. Like I could do it and I got it, and it was cool, and it is really interesting. But music was just all I could think about. And, it was like, this is just what I want to do. This is what makes me happy. So just kinda started from there and just took off.
I love that. It's so cool because, music is such a journey in that sense of I'm thinking about, I see the posters on your wall and I see a Melody poster and then I see your Brain Spiders poster. And as someone who has evolved so much in my own music, I mean, I started off making hip hop music and then I went into emo pop punk stuff. And now I'm doing electronic music production, which I've always had a passion for. I just have never, it's always seemed so confusing and tough for me. And now I'm like, oh, wait, like this actually is something I can understand and, um, really start to grasp. But watching you go from multiple artist names and evolving through your styles and all that, it connects with me because I'm on like my third or fourth iteration of what my music story is. And is there anything that comes up for you as to like, how have you evolved as a musician in looking back to where you did start? What was it? What caused the change from even changing your name from Melody to Brain Spiders? Like, is there inspiration with inside of you? Is it emotions? What is that all about?
Yeah, so, well, one, I was just gonna say off the bat, like, you got it, dude. Like, you have always just been such a passionate person, and that's something I love about you is you always just, have just been passionate with everything that you do, and
I appreciate that.
the fullest. And yeah, we have been, making music and doing stuff alongside each other now for a long time. And it's been so cool to watch you grow too. Let me just say that, like, because you've really, just taken your passions and your arts to the next level. And I'm sure you're gonna do that with, the electronic music and stuff too. Like, I've always loved your music. Like, you're a talented dude.
Thanks, man.
But yeah,
Appreciate
for
that.
me and stuff, like, yeah, I did start out with Melody. I mean, you can see on the poster here, my name was Melody, and my name is Dakota, so I was trying to do a whole thing with that, and, I mean, I had other names before that too, more like silly things,
Yeah,
and
didn't you well, I can't remember what the you and your brother or something had something funny, I can't remember.
oh gosh, well, this is silly, but, like, I love cheese, and I even tried to go cheeses at one point,
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
you
Yeah, I
know
do remember
I
that.
don't even know what I was doing, but, again, I was just younger, and again, just messing around and just having fun and being, creative and stuff like that, and that's what you gotta do, like, you're not gonna, like, when you start out with, like, anything, you're not gonna just, like, start, making the best stuff or just exactly what you want, even with electronic music, like, it is or music in general, that is one of the harder things starting out is getting it to sound like how it sounds in your mind and that the journey, like getting there and stuff like that. And so, I've messed around with lots of sounds and, like made lots of different music and everything. And just the more I did it and everything, you start to hone in on like the things that you like with each track, like the things that you like about it. And it just kind of evolves and everything. And it was when I did Melody, and then I had my, first album come out, and it was called Brain Spiders, and Brain Spiders is Brain Spiders is like my metaphor for the crippling thoughts that you have in your head that you wish you could stop thinking of. So it's like essentially my metaphor for anxiety. So, like, I'm actually, like, super afraid of spiders. It's like the one thing I'm afraid of is, like, I can't handle spiders. I don't know, they just give me that chill that I can't handle, and so, you know, it came, with anxiety is, like, one day I was like, "God, I got these, like, spiders in my head, like, just wish I could, fucking," I was just relating it to just, like, these thoughts that I wish would go away in a sense. And so that's where brain spiders, evolved, and, like most people, we're all going through things, and music became my passion, as my place to, like, put out my emotion and, and just, almost put that, you know, this, my release, for like what's going on and stuff. So I just put everything that's going on in my life, I just put it into my music. And so that's like, again, where Brain Spiders came from. And from there, I really, it really grew and realized that like this is what my music is about. And this is what I want to do. And this is, the vision became so clear at that point that like I just everything was like this is the art I want to create. And so from that point, I realized, I'm switching to Brain Spiders. Even though that was the name of the album, I was like, Brain Spiders is me, and that is what I'm running with from now on. And so it just grew into that over years, but now it's like the vision is clear as day, of what I want to do. And it doesn't happen immediately, but like you just got to keep creating, because you love it. But
Yeah, that
yeah,
that's
that's
beautiful, man.
essentially how I got here.
I love that so much. Just hearing about it as someone who I struggled deeply with I had a severe anxiety disorder from about 15 to 25, 26, where, just hearing you describe that brain spiders is your definition of those anxiety thoughts and that you've embraced it. So the way that I was able to actually heal from anxiety was I learned about something called exposure therapy. And that's pretty much where, I was so scared of having panic attacks that I would avoid situations that gave me anxiety, and it would you essentially fear compiles on itself, and it's the saying of the only thing to fear is fear itself. It's you're like you essentially make this giant snowball. But anyways, you have said, okay, well, I'm fucking terrified of spiders, so like I'm gonna become the spider. I'm embracing the spiders, and there's like
Mhm.
a sense where for me as well, music is always been I got into hip hop music, I started writing lyrics, all that to get emotions off of my chest. Like when I go into I say this all the time that me creating music or creating anything really, it's me trying to walk into the studio almost into a therapy session leave whatever I was trying, whatever's in here, put it out into this microphone, into the music, whatever I'm feeling. And by the time I leave, it's like all of that got released, right? It's like I'm no longer walking around with it. And now I have this piece of art, whether it resonates with other people or it's just for me, even to be like, oh, cool. So it's amazing to hear you be like, I embraced it. I embraced the anxiety. I embraced the brain spiders. That's awesome, man.
100%.
Yeah. What are
Yeah, I mean, I used to not be able to like all my merch is spider stuff now, everything is revolves around spiders. So like it has helped my anxiety and fear of spiders. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's still there, I still hate spiders, but like it was bad. Like and now, I mean, I have spider stickers. It's like I've had to get used to like seeing them in a sense. So it's definitely like, yeah, I'm just hitting it straight on.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. You truly are embracing that. I just watched the new Avicii documentary last night. Have you seen that yet?
Oh, I need to watch it. I still
Oh
haven't,
man,
but I need to watch
it's
it
wild.
soon.
You talk about just, people starting off making stuff. Like they were literally just it was like him and his friend were just making music for fun. And Avicii is just this insane melody writer and they talk about it. Like with some all these artists are like, I've never seen anybody be able to just write melodies like the way that he does. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, they just like he starts off they're just seriously just creating stuff for fun. They're like, "Yeah, we just wanted to make some music to play at shows with local friends," and it just developed into him becoming one of the biggest EDM artists of all time. Like, I don't know, we probably went to a Avicii show or a few. I remember going to
huge
Skylab
fan.
and being front row at
Yeah,
Avicii, like right that year Levels
yeah.
came out, and like I remember Levels playing, and just like the whole crowd. There's not a single word
Dude,
until
Rebels
the
is a good
sample.
song.
Yeah, it's like everybody knows, "Da-na-na, da-na-na-na," like, and the whole crowd's singing this, and there's not a word, like, it's just a melody. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's something that's pretty crazy. What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as you're becoming an artist? Because for me, like, I've quit music, like, 2 or 3 times now. Like, I'm like, "Ah, I got something else to do." Like, I'm not good enough to make it. Right now, I'm struggling with the age concept of being too old to do this now to pursue it. What are some of the challenges that you feel either in the past or you're currently struggling with as a musician?
Let's see. I mean, I would say like early on from the music standpoint and stuff, like, it's definitely it takes time. Like you have to put in your hours, like with anything. Like you gotta put in your hours, but like and you're putting in the hours because you love doing it and this is like what you want to do. So then, that doesn't matter as much. But yeah, you gotta put in the time, but I guess, starting out a little bit hard things was, like, just, again, making the music sound exactly like how, it maybe sounds in your head and how you want it to sound and stuff like that, and, um, a lot of it just does come with time, like, the more you listen, the more you do it, the more your ears get attuned to, you know what you're trying to, like, hear for or you
Mm.
understand, like, why you do certain things and stuff like that. So, that was definitely, like, a little bit difficult in a sense, like, getting my music loud enough, sounding like the pros, like, that stuff always, like, you know people always battle that though too, like, that's one thing, like, I don't wanna discourage anyone, it's like even, you know, anyone who's probably even still making it, battles mix downs and like struggles with things that that they wish could get to sound a little bit better. I mean, the more you do it, you have more ideas on how you're gonna fix things and how you might like approach something. But that is part of the process. That it, everyone is messing with their mix downs. Trying to get it just right. And stuff like that. And so I definitely have it like, I have a lot of songs, like, I have so many songs pretty much ready to go, and I would say one of my maybe weaknesses is just saying it's done, in a sense. It's like, I, maybe I'm a little perfectionistic in that sense that, like, it's just hard to just let it go and be, like, complete, in a sense. So I definitely struggle with that aspect of it, but, everyone does. Finishing songs is definitely one of the things that, everyone struggles with, and they say, "Just finish that song." But, you know? So that's one tricky thing, but it's not something to get discouraged of, either. You just gotta keep pushing and everything, and you just keep doing it because you love doing it, um, and yeah, it just keeps, music just keeps evolving and evolving more into, like, what you want it to, and, um
Yeah, and the harder you work on that, the more music you create essentially. Because I remember starting off, my journey was literally I had like a 2003, 2004 MacBook that my parents had. It was like this little white, like one of the first Mac laptops. And it just had this built-in microphone, and I went on GarageBand and I just started recording my I would literally just record my raps like a cappella into this GarageBand thing. And then I found a way to drag like a YouTube beat or something into there, and then I would rap over that beat, and I would write that. And then like next thing I know, I'd made like 500 of these like shitty garage band songs. And then it was like, oh, and then I discovered what a producer was, and that someone could mix and master my songs. And I was like, whoa, and remember I like still know the first song I got mixed and mastered. And then I discovered that, and I made like another 500 songs. And it's like, wasn't until like around those higher numbers of songs that I even made a song that I was like, "Oh, I actually like this song. Like this is starting to sound good." And then it would be like, you know, 10 more songs from that. I'm like, "Oh, I actually like this song." And it's like that progression that you only find through consistent and hard work. And that's what's like so scary is start. And I know that process. And as someone who's starting like, "Oh, I'm gonna start making electronic music," I know that even just playing around and starting to put songs together, there's so many songs that I'm gonna have to make before I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's it. That's hitting." So it's no easy task. You really have to put in the time. I think a lot of people think that you just can be like, "Oh, yeah," even as a talented musician, like, I think it just doesn't come. You have without having a lot of these big people we see, they're sitting in a room with, like, 10 to 20 people. Like, as a solo and smaller musician, we're coming up with a lot of these ideas ourselves. There's no one bouncing anything off of us, unless you're collaborating with someone. It's such an interesting process, but thank you for sharing those struggles. What have been some of your biggest successes in your career, you think, so far?
Um, I mean, I would just say almost staying true to myself
Mm,
and, like, what I wanna do and stuff like that, um, I mean, I don't really measure success necessarily by, like, how many streams I'm getting. It's like, at the end of the day for me, like, you know, if I was only, I don't know, like, if I was only left with my art, or, like, whatever, like, would I be proud of it kinda thing is where I come from. Like, I really do make the stuff that, like, I wanna make. Like, I have a vision for it, and, like, it's been a journey, and I'm still, like, getting all of, like, the pieces together and everything like that. But, like, I really try to put everything into, every release or every show that I do, and I do that for me, and I do it because, like, I want everything to be the best that I can do it, and that's where I get, my success and my, um I don't know, that's just like if I was like, I could just half-ass things or kinda like my stuff isn't super, poppy or necessarily radio-esque music. Like I make a lot of really intense music and stuff like that, and again, that's some of that emotion that I was talking about earlier, like coming out. Like I'm a very, very positive person and a happy person. Like, I mean, I truly am, but, like, my music is pretty dark and stuff, and again, I do put a lot of, some of that harder stuff that I'm dealing with into my music, and, I like to make some pretty crazy music and whatnot, but, like, for me, it's like, I have this vision that that I wanna create and I wanna do for me, and, like, at the end of the day, like, that's, what makes me happy, is, like, going, I don't know, just fully, like, just doing the vision that I wanna do, and that's my art. Like, I mean, I guess I'm obviously very passionate about it and stuff, but so, like, with my last show and everything, it went super well, came up with the whole concept of, like, being in the web, like, the poster, I mean, I don't you might not be able to see it, but the poster up top, was from the last show, and it has, like, me hiding in the web, See if I can pull that poster out right here. Okay, yeah. I got like, I'm like back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
here in the web, and then I play behind the whole web, and like I like to. That's just where I find the success, I guess, is that I like to you know, do it for me, and like again, I don't have like a huge following or anything like that, but that's really like not what I base it, and I am really proud of the stuff that I have coming, and I feel like I have, you know, I feel like that I put on a show and I'm doing stuff that other people aren't in the industry doing, and whether like anyone sees it or hears it or notices it, like, I mean, I know that I'm staying true to what I want to do, and yeah, I don't know. I just
That's dude,
that's what I that's
I
why I
I
do it.
that is some of the most beautiful thing for, like, an artist because a lot of people are, driven by like, they measure success and how, I've played a massive show or I've done all this stuff, and, I mean, going back to the Avicii documentary I watched last night, like, his biggest thing you remember Ultra when he came out with that whole bluegrass thing? And
Oh
there's
yeah.
there's clips from it, and, like, the whole crowd, like, he plays his normal set at first, and then halfway through, he shuts it off, and then this, like, bluegrass starts, Aloe Black comes out singing, and the whole crowd just starts booing. They're like, "What the hell is this?" And it's like, probably the wrong place, wrong time for releasing a bluegrass type EDM song or EDM album at Ultra Music Festival. Um, However, within, like, a week or 2 later, it became, like, the biggest thing ever, like, he blew up so huge from that, and it was just from making music that he wanted to make. Ultimately, I think that's what led to a lot of his depression was being in that industry and not being able to you have all these music heads and, music industry heads being like, "Well, we need you to make this song, and you make it like this," and he just wanted to separate from all of that and like people want short quick catchy things and he's trying to make he literally says in it he's like I want to make music that's timeless and it's that's not always the most catchy pop song right away but he did do that and so it's really cool to hear you say that man it's super inspirational to me to hear that necessarily like even if I mean, I think you keep doing what you're gonna do, you're gonna find success in that material sense, but I think emotionally and on the inside, you have found a lot of success for what music means to you, and that's huge. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in music? Like, 'cause I feel like that's a good place to segment into that because that right there, I would take that as advice for someone who's starting out. I'm going to take it as advice to not get so caught up in like, "Oh, well, I haven't played a show yet or no one's streaming my music yet." It's like, "Well, am I proud of that song?" And that's a battle I've experienced in my own music before. And as I'm coming back into it, be like, especially coming from someone who's transitioning from uh I run a business and do video creation and all this, and then people start being like, "Wait, what's going on now?" There's probably going to be a transition period. What advice would you give to someone like me? Well, I guess I'm not quite starting out. It's just starting out in a different genre. But
Yeah.
anyone who's just like on that beginner side of music.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I mean, like I've kind of been saying, but you just, you know, doing it because, you want to do it and, you love doing it and stuff like that. And just keep creating, keep doing it for you, like again, only you know, like only you know what you want to hear. You don't know what anyone else wants to hear. So it's like there's no point in trying to, create someone else's vision because like you don't know it. You only got yours, So like just do what's true to you and like what inspires you and just like, let let that guide you and you know, just keep putting in some time and stuff like that. But again, there's no need to ever get, discouraged or, down on yourself or, anything like that, like just enjoy yourself and I think that will, just really go far, just really just working on your craft. You know, for
100%.
you and whatnot. Um, as far as like I mean, as far as like getting gigs and everything and stuff goes, I mean, this is like a whole like we've kind of been talking producing and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But like for someone who's looking to get gigs and things like that and really start playing shows, I mean, honestly, the best advice is to get involved in the scene in the community. Like, the truth is with, like, pretty much all shows is, like, a show is thrown by someone. They normally throw that show at a venue, and a venue is just a venue that is being essentially rented out by a promoter who's throwing a show. And these promoters are people who are obviously in the electronic music industry. And all those people have other friends who are in the electronic music industry, and they're probably all DJs. And so the people that really do get on the lineups and stuff like that are the people who know these people, because when they throw a show, who are they gonna put on? I mean, they have a whole entire friend group of DJs that have probably been asking them to put on, so it's like they're gonna put on their homie, before they probably put on, a random person. So, like, we're talking, like, on a when you're first starting out getting gigs and stuff, but, like, just being involved in your community, like, your local dance community, getting to know the people, getting your face out there so that they like, so they see you. That really is your best, probably your best chance for just landing gigs is just getting involved in the scene, knowing the people, and then that would probably, open you up to the best opportunity to really start pulling in gigs. If that, if that's your goal is to just be playing as much as possible and stuff like that. Like that is what I mean, that's what I would say, and then, of course, you get some dope tracks and stuff like that that can really help you push that even further and stuff, but yeah, getting involved and getting just to know the people is honestly probably the fastest route to just getting gigs.
How would you go about finding those people? Do you have suggestions for that?
I mean, so yeah, like going to shows, I mean, going to shows, talking to people, um, you could, seeing who's playing the shows, like in your area and stuff like that, like getting familiar with, the promoters and the people that are going to shows and just, honestly showing up and mingling, I mean, even like you can as far as like getting music out, like you can message people music too, but like it needs to come from like more of like a honest
Yeah.
standpoint, whereas like you're not trying to just promote yourself, like, cause no one ever is gonna listen to that, but if you come off as a homie who, like, is just passionate about what they're doing, wants to talk to more passionate people about music, like, that's gonna come off quick, like, you're gonna find people who are like, there's tons of other producers and DJs and people at the shows that are like, at these shows all the time, so really, networking in a sense. Unfortunately, like, it is like what people say, like, helps to know people, but like you just gotta go out there and get involved, like, I mean, I know everyone in my local scene, I know all the people that throw the shows, and if I wanted to throw a show, like, you're like, getting on a show, like, I just know all the people, and we all talk about shows, so it's like, it's just really easy in that sense, so you just getting involved is probably just, again, going out, meeting people, finding other people who are passionate about it, would be a good way to really mainstream some gigs, I would say,
That's solid.
unless your song blows up on TikTok.
Cool. But I was in a call earlier with it's a music marketing thing, and they're talking about some of these guys that music labels aren't even signing people on TikTok anymore. They're being weary of it because of people are viral people because of the kind of the quickness of it, right? Without you can go viral, but if you don't have the audience that will support you, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It's like you can have a million views on your song, but then you ask a million people to show up at your show and 2 people show up, you know what I mean? It's like you kinda have to build those connections with your audience, like, you're almost more powerful to have a 100-person audience that you can sell anything to, right? Or you can say, "Hey, I've got this new song," and they're all gonna stream it 100 times versus trying to reach a million people that they may just listen to the first couple seconds, so,
Yeah.
going for the future of Brain Spiders, what's next in your music journey?
So the Brain Spiders is all I got, like, the entire thing is a story. about getting infected with the brown spiders, and then, you know, as I get become sicker and sicker, it starts to spread. The music is getting crazier and crazier. And so, like my first song, one of my first songs is called Transmission, and that is all about how, I have had the disease transmitted to me and everything like that. And then from there, I start going into the host where I'm the then I had my Patient, Zero album or EP that came out where I'm, like, the first person infected as Patient Zero, and then my next release was The Host,
Mhm.
where I'm now the host body that is spreading, everything, and then the next song was Suffocation. I have all these, songs for different symptoms and everything like that, and so really the idea is just you know, as time goes on and the infection progresses, the music is just going to get crazier and crazier and wilder and wilder. And so, like, I've been warming it up, but each release will probably start to get a little bit more intense and whatnot and have different symptoms. And so, like, I've just been lining it all up, and I have so many songs here ready to go. Like, my last song here was Obsession. And again, that is, you know, essentially a symptom or like an idea of brain spiders, like one of those crippling thoughts. We all have things that we can't stop thinking about sometimes that we wish we could. And so that is where obsession comes from. My last song, that is just like, sometimes we obsess over things and it's just like, just want to stop, just like chill out a little bit. But, so yeah, I have a whole bunch of releases lined up coming for this year. I plan on doing a bunch more shows and everything. And the whole web behind the web show that I did turned out great. It
That
was
was so
awesome.
cool, man. Yeah, definitely send me some footage of that so we can link it in this podcast. It was
I got some really good responses from that and everything, and, people wanna see more of that, so definitely gonna be carrying forward with that and just doing some more shows and just, yeah, getting some songs out there. I really like I said, I have a lot of music that I'm really proud of and excited to get out, and, I just really wanna start, getting those out there, to everyone, so I'm not the only one listening to them. So
perfect.
that's pretty
Give yourself a self plug. I mean, where can we find your music at and all that? I mean, I'll link it in the show notes for sure. But
Oh yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, you can find my music, you know, everywhere. I'm on Spotify, Apple, for just Brain Spiders, SoundCloud, Brain Spiders. I mean, pretty much just everything. Twitter, Brain Spiders, Instagram, Brain Spiders. But yeah,
love it.
so yeah, check me out. I'm all over the place.
Well, before we wrap up, this has been a great conversation, man. It's so cool to hear. I mean, as someone who a lot of my content resonates around mental health stuff, mindfulness, meditation, Buddhism has all been super important to me. It's in my music. I try to kind of incorporate things into my video production type stuff, and just hearing you talk so much about your backstory and why Brain Spiders is, and hearing about that, there's just this whole new perspective on your music that I've known you for a while and now I'm like, oh, like I just see so much more into that. So I hope by sharing this, a lot of other people will too. One question that I want to ask kind of for fun that I'm going to ask everybody is if you could collaborate with any artist, alive or dead, who would it be? Like anybody. It'd be in the past, anything. Who would you want to make a song with?
Ooh, I mean, oh gosh. Well, it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna probably just put three.
Okay.
I mean, Daft Punk would be, like, obviously sweet,
Yeah.
but more realistically would probably be, like, Justice or Gazaphelstein.
I literally was going to
Those
say Justice. I feel like I could see you and Justice making a song.
Justice and Gazaphelstein are, yeah, two of my hugest inspirations, and, yeah, I just resonate with what they're doing
I know,
so
man. You
much.
should have been at the Mission Ballroom show. It was so good.
I mean, I saw both of them at Coachella
That's
last
true.
year.
That's true. Yeah, I'm
That's,
jealous of
I
that one.
mean, yeah, it was awesome, but yeah, dude. You were at the Mission one?
Yeah, yeah, me and all the boys went. It was Connor, Stefan, they had the crew. It was fun,
Yeah.
but, yeah,
Yeah,
dude, are
we
you
had
going
a
to
good
Coachella this
also.
year?
I will be, yep.
Nice. Fun, fun.
Yeah,
Awesome, man. Well,
yeah.
I look forward to seeing all this stuff that your music brings, and just so stoked for your journey. It's so cool. Like I said, yeah, throw us some footage of that, the Brain Spider's Web, and because that show was really cool. I was watching the footage and just seeing where you're taking you. You have this vision for your music, and like you said, if it's even if it's not, you're not making music. Truly, I can feel it in you. You are not making music for anyone else other than yourself, and I think that's a very rare thing for people to have. I think everybody at some point is like sitting there and being like, I've done it myself. Or I'm like, are people gonna like this song? Or is that lyric too weird? Is like this, and it's like constantly in the back of my head. And I'm sure you think of it too, but it's you seem to have this confidence that you know where you're going in this direction, and I think it's gonna take you far.
Thanks a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, super passionate about it, and, yeah, you gotta just follow your dreams and do what you love and just, keep going after your goals, like, I could never be someone that just gives up and just I don't know, just settles for the average in a sense. Like, for me, going after my dreams and my goals and, that's what, that's what keeps me going, and that's what I love, so
I feel that, man. I took a pivot for sure. I've let my self doubts and things talk me out of music too many times, and it's always been a passion of mine. I'm happy to be back here. I'm happy to be having these conversations with other
I'm
musicians,
so
and
glad you're back, dude.
yeah, I'm going strong, man. I've got I don't know. You remember Drew Dugan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's, I hired him to teach me. We're doing a couple lessons a week right now on producing.
What?
I have a call after this with this big YouTube guy, Adam Ivy, to do, some music marketing type stuff. Like, I'm going full, like, I'm using my business brain now. All the things I learned through creating a business, I'm like, "Well, like, what if I just utilize all that knowledge now and apply that to my music?" And,
Dude, that's gonna take
try
you
to
far, dude.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I've
take
gotta
some of that knowledge off of you as well, 'cause,
yeah, definitely, man. Any
you can
questions you have, I'd definitely help. And I think I'll be creating some content around YouTube and to help other musicians as I go. I mean, my whole thing right now is actually to document this journey. I've been filming it, so like my first video will essentially be, starting from zero to my goal is to someday play a show at Red Rocks. I don't. That's my goal. Like I don't care if there's two people there. I don't care if I'm opening. I just want to be on the decks playing a show at Red Rocks. Like whether it's 10 years from now, whatever. My goals are 3 to 5 years. We'll see.
it is,
But
dude.
yeah, yeah, and that's just like that's what's got me going. And so I want to document that journey and really give people insight of what it takes, share business knowledge from what I've learned in my business, what I'm going to be picking up. I'll be sharing things like I'm recording all the sessions I'm doing with Drew, so in sharing that knowledge, and just trying to help other musicians along the way because I music is such an important thing in my life. It always has been, and I love seeing it in everyone else. So thank you again so much for your time, man, and I really
Of
appreciate
course, dude. Thank you so much for having me. Love chatting with you, and, yeah, I can't wait to just watch your journey, and, yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome. I'm stoked for you.
you as well, man. We'll definitely catch up soon.